Now let's take a look into formatting text. We've seen so far how to add new text within a page, how to make use of paragraphs, and how to use content separation through headings and paragraphs. But now let's take a look into actually formatting text. As you can see here, I've already pre-made a page for you that will contain a series of various tags which are split in two simple categories. First one would be simple formatting elements, and the second one would be phrase formatting elements, and I shall explain in a minute the difference between. Let's start with the simple formatting elements. As you can see here, you have roughly 5 tags, which it will be E for italic, B for bold, big, thick, and small. As you can see, you also have an explanation. E would be used for italic, and it will render the text as italic. B, it will render as bold, big. As you can see, it makes the text a little bit bigger than the other ones. You have teletext, which is like a teletype text, you know, from those old machines that you use to teletype text in the old days. And you have a tag that will make your text small. So these tags are somewhat on a self-explanatory. If we are going to take a look at the code behind, I'm going to see that the simple formatting text tags are usually targeting formatting the text as inline mode, and that means I'm just going to use the tag wherever I want to actually modify the text within the paragraph. For instance, if I go down here and I want to make this text italic, okay, I'll be needing a start tag and an end tag, let's say somewhere around here. I'm just going to save, go back and refresh. Sorry. Now, as we can see here, this part of the text now it's italic. So pretty much stated within the code that the italic text will start here and will end here. And we already know how we actually did that. We've used a start tag from the given elements and an end tag for the E. Let's go back a little bit. Now, as I've said, all these elements are usually used as inline element, so you can make one word or multiple words or multiple lines italic or bold. Now you can see here the bold, which renders the bold text. Okay, has a start tag and an end tag. Big as well, which renders the big text, has a start tag and an end tag. The teletype is the same, and the small tag is pretty much the same. Now, there is also something else you probably already noticed, is that you can also see the tag itself render within the page. If you remember, I told you that normally if we are to actually type in something like this, save it and go back, I'm just going to actually format everything, you see, from the phrase right from here down to the bottom, just because I didn't close the sorry, the tag right here. But we are going to see the tag only within the code itself. If I'm going to refresh here, I'm not going to see it. And the question would be, how exactly did I manage to top all this off, right? And also display the tag within the rendered page. Well, this is how exactly did I did it. LT. I'm going to save it so you can see first what it does. Back and refresh, and we can see here that we entered the start of the first component element within a start tag, and that would be left angle bracket. And this is how I can actually insert elements which normally are not rendered within the page. And these are actually called HTML entities. This is something that we're going to learn a little bit further on, because you can implement more than just left angle bracket or right angle bracket. You can even implement copyright signs and much more interesting stuff. But this is something, as I said, that we will learn a little bit later on. Now, the composition of a HTML entity usually is it's something like this. You have an ampersand, then you have the entity, and then you have the semicolon to end it. So in this case, I'm just going to type in, and now the other entity, which is GT for right angle bracket. Just going to save it, go back and refresh, and there you go. This is how you you type in your entire code. If I want to say this is italic text, and I want to copy paste it, and of course I'm going to just use this, save it and refresh. And there we go, we have it. Oops, I have a very big th, but anyway, I'm just going to delete it, save it. Okay. So this is how the symbol formatting elements usually work. Okay, if I'm going to get to my code, I can even make bold this one, save, go back and refresh. And you should also notice the fact that I can use a simple formatting element within another formatting element. So there is no no defining rule. I mean, you can have multiple nesting elements. So this would be my italic element, and within it's nested the B element. There's, however, something you should not be doing, something like and then go here and do it like this, go back and refresh. Now, what exactly did I did? Basically, I started this line as italic text, and then I started from this word as bold. By this point, I've ended the italic, and just after that, I've ended my B. Normally, as you can see, it's rendered. Actually, this would be italic and this would be bold and italic at the same time. The only difference is that our code is incorrect. Normally, we should have placed this one either here if we want to achieve this effect, so the entire selection that I have here from this word up to the end of the line to be as bold, or just go back to where I had initially the code, but never use this kind of or just place the B here and then have it erased from here, because within the XHTML code this would be incorrect. Just going to undo. Now we can also use a different one. Let's say we want to make it a little bit bigger. Also, okay, can use like this, big. Save, go back and refresh. So now it's also bold, and it is a little bit bigger, and it's also italic. So this is the way that you can work with a simple formatting text. Okay, now let's go into phrase formatting elements. Now, as you can see, the phrase formatting elements would be somewhat rendered like the italic text. So as you can see here, the M tag is rendered as pretty much like italic text. The only difference is that it's rendered as emphasized text. So what does actually mean to us? If I'm going to go back to this line, I'm just going to now go a little bit. I'm just going to go here, close this paragraph. I'm just going to make a new one here. Just going to say EM. Oops, I made a mistake, but I'm going to fix it right away. No problem. Sorry, my bad. Now it's correct there. So we started with the EM and going to end it here. Save it. Go back and refresh. Now, as I said, this one used the italic text tag, which is E, and it is rendered as italic, and in this part we used the EM tag, which is also rendered as italic. As I said, the only difference would be that this one, it's used to emphasize the text. Basically, it gives some kind of importance. It should say, look, this text is a little bit much more important than something else. But how exactly do I understand this difference between the italic and the emphasized? Normally, the code behind the page would have much more greater importance to a search engine optimization than maybe to you as a user at this point, because you're just seeing the page and you can see both of the texts are italic. But behind the code we have an EM that defines this one, and it looks like italic, and in this other part we have just a simple italic. The only difference would be that this tells to the search engines and maybe other possible software that this text is somewhat much more important than the just italic text one. Okay, so this is how the phrase formatting elements pretty much work. As you can see here, we also have the counterpart for bold, which is strong. So in this case, we're just going to render like a highlighted text. It's a little bit stronger. It should be much more visible than the other ones. So if I'm going here and just going to use strong one, strong. Okay, and let's see where it ends. Okay, I'm going to end it here. Save it, go back and refresh. And I also have a strong text. Pretty much looks like the bold. I'm sorry, like this one. But we know it's rendered as an important text, as a phrase formatting text. So pretty much this is the way how the code, the elements from the phrase formatting elements would work. As you can see here, you have also for definitions, terms for code, for sample computing code, keyword definitions, variables, and citation, abbreviation, acronym. Let's just take a look also on another one like acronym, and this way we're going to understand a little bit better. Let's just make a new paragraph, close it here, and let's select this acronym, search acronym. Going to say XHTML. Now I'm going to save it, go back and refresh my page. We have here at the bottom the XHTML. Now at this point it looks like there is no difference within the text. However, this acronym also have an attribute. This is something new that I'm going to teach you, which is called title equal two quotes, and I'm just going to say right standard hyper text markup language. I'm just going to save it, go back and refresh. Now as you can see, the acronym placed the text with some kind of a dotted line under it, and if I go with the mouse over at this point, as you can see, we have an alternate text. It looks like an alternate text, which it says extended hypertext markup language, which is basically the definition of the acronym. It's the longer version of the initial term XHTML. So this is what the acronym does. So now you can see how you can use the phrase elements within the context of a page, and what kind of importance they actually give to the text, unlike the other ones which are only used to define the text as italic, bold, big, or I don't know, smaller text. This is the main feature you should keep in mind. Now there's this new element which I've introduced, and it is called attribute. So the element could also have an attribute. In this case it's called title. We have an equal, and then we have double quotes to start and to end, and between them we have the value that it's contained by the attribute. The reason for which I didn't bring this up until now is that most of these attributes available for other elements are pretty much deprecated, and that means are not used within the XHTML any longer, because the type of the the values that were defined within those attributes for some given tags are now defined within the CSS itself, and you're going to see this demonstrated, and you'll fully understand when we will start also to turn to CSS to actually replace this kind of things like attributes. In this case, for the acronym, there is no substitution for the CSS, because the CSS it's doing it's actually separating only the style of the text from the content. Okay, for instance, instead of actually using italic here, we could have defined the formatting of the text as being italic from the CSS, and you'll also see why. Okay, so that would be all for formatting text for now.